Marquette, Auburn, and Oregon basketball. What do these teams all have in common? They have all stunk this season. But here's the crazy part. Every March when the madness begins, we see something unbelievable happen. A terrible team, sometimes one of the worst in their entire conference, suddenly gets hot, wins a few games, and steals an automatic bid to the tournament. Most conference tournaments are won by the league's best teams, but every once in a while, a bottom feeder team pulls off a miracle run and crashes the big dance. And today, I'm looking at some of the worst conference tournament champions in college basketball history. Starting this video off, we have to head back to 2005. Just 3 years after their national championship run, Syracuse University was on the verge of missing March Madness, which was odd as this 05-06 Syracuse team only lost really 2 players from the previous 27-7 squad the prior season. Yet by January 14th, Syracuse sat at a record of 15-2. So how could have it all gone wrong? 3 words: the Big East. Their last 13 Big East games had the team go 4-9, finishing the regular season with a total record of 19-11, going 7-9 in the Big East. With that conference record, Syracuse got the 9 seed in the conference tourney, where their run had some of the closest results you will ever see out of a team. Game 1 against 8 seed Cincinnati with just 10 seconds remaining, Devin Downey of Cincinnati stole the inbounds pass and was fouled. He made 1 of 2 to put the Bearcats up by 2 points. However, with just a half a second left, Jerry McNamara, Syracuse's tournament hero, made a running one-handed three-pointer to secure victory 74-73. Game 2 was against the 1 seed UConn. After jumping out to a big 49-35 lead against Connecticut early in the second half, UConn battled back for much of the game until they finally took their first lead of the game with 30 seconds to play. As I mentioned previously, the hero Jerry McNamara was him again. He hit a 30-foot three-pointer with 5 seconds left to send the game into overtime. The Orange went on to win 86-84, holding off the Huskies on a last-second effort where UConn had a wide-open look. Syracuse faced Georgetown in the semifinals in their attempt to become the first team to win the Big East tournament as one of the teams forced to play on the first day. The Hoyas went up early, holding a 15-point lead at the half, where McNamara sat out for 10 minutes in the first half due to a nagging groin injury. It shouldn't have surprised anyone when McNamara came out in the second half and started playing sensationally. McNamara drained 5 three-pointers, including one with 48 seconds left to have the Orange only be down by 1. Syracuse then knocked away the inbounds pass from Georgetown, allowing McNamara to take possession and rush down the floor with time running out. He passed an open Eric Devendorf, who laid the winning shot in with 1.5 seconds to go. The Orange had advanced to the finals, beating Georgetown 58-57. History was in the making, and only one team stood in Syracuse's way. That would be Pittsburgh. Their run to this point seemed improbable, winning 3 straight games either in overtime or by 1 point. The championship wasn't much different. The Orange led most of the game, but with 8:40 in the second half, the Panthers had taken the lead. McNamara quickly responded with a 3 of his own to make the game 50-48, and where a back-and-forth game ensued. Guard Josh Wright made 4 clutch free throws within the final minute, where it ultimately led to a 65-61 Syracuse victory. A historic championship, and one where the Orange beat all 4 of their opponents by just a total of 8 points. Just absurd. If Syracuse had not won the Big East tourney, it would have likely been left out of the NCAA tournament. Now as for March Madness, Syracuse was named a 5 seed and got upset by 12 seed Texas A&M 66-58. This Orange team was more on the better of the worst side, but luck was the main factor in this run. I guess that's what you need in March though, so I can't hate too much. One team in 2007 had an interesting offseason, and that was the Georgia Bulldogs. You see, before the 07-08 season even started, Georgia dismissed 2 starters from the previous season in Mike Mercer and Takis Brown, 2 of their top 4 scorers, so the team was kind of set up for failure right out of the gate, and it indeed showed. A decent 9-4 non-conference record wasn't bad, but as for SEC play, these Bulldogs went 4-12, with only having 2 wins from January 20th all the way to March 8th, so yeah, it was bad. Their bad conference record meant the team got the 6th seed in the SEC East, or the lowest seed on their side of the conference. This meant Game 1 was against 3 seed from the West, that being Ole Miss. Georgia led the Rebels 63-50 with 12 minutes left in regulation. The Rebels then went on an 18-2 run to get back in the game. With only 4 seconds remaining and with the Dogs up by 3, Georgia fouled on a three-point attempt. Ole Miss made all three, sending the game to overtime. Then with 5.5 seconds left in overtime and the Dogs up by 3 again, Georgia fouled Ole Miss on another three-point attempt where the Rebels made all 3 shots, which tied the game again. Luckily, Dave Bliss came in clutch for the Dogs. Bliss banked his shot off the glass with 0.4 seconds remaining to give the Bulldogs a 97-95 win over the Rebels. Now before the quarterfinal matchup versus Kentucky, a tornado hit the Georgia Dome. The storm tore open a panel on the north side of the dome, sheared bolts and insulation fell into the arena. This moved Georgia and Kentucky to Saturday at noon instead of Friday, playing now at Georgia Tech, where there was talks of playing both semifinals on Sunday and declaring the semifinal winners as co-champions. However, tournament officials were told by the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee that it had to finish the tournament in order to preserve the league's automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. First half versus Kentucky saw a low-scoring 22-25 game with the Wildcats leading. Fast forward to 7 minutes left in the second half, and Georgia was up 41-33, but where that lead disappeared, and where the Bulldogs didn't end up tying the game until a 50-50 all to force overtime. UK took a 56-54 lead with 8.8 seconds remaining, seemingly giving UK the win. Georgia called timeout and inbounded to Zach Swansea, who drove the court before stopping, spinning, and launching a three-pointer in front of the Georgia bench, giving the Bulldogs a 57-56 lead, where the game ended in a final score of 60-56 in favor of Georgia. Facing the 1 seed of the SEC West, Mississippi State was their semifinals matchup and their second game of Saturday. UGA jumped out to an early 15-4 lead. MSU managed to chew its way back throughout the first half as several Georgia players got into foul trouble. The game was tied at 33 by halftime. Near the 12-minute mark of the second half, State's Barry Stewart nailed his third straight three-pointer to hand State a 52-50 lead. Georgia star Sundiata Gaines fouled out at the 7:18 mark, but Mississippi State was outscored 14-8 the rest of the way with UGA's most prolific scorer on the bench. The game virtually ended when a technical foul was called on MSU's Charles Rhodes with just seconds remaining, allowing Georgia to pull ahead with just 7.6 seconds left in the contest for their 64-60 Bulldogs win. SEC championship was against Arkansas, with this game being the team's biggest margin of victory. Georgia actually never trailed in this entire game. Granted, it did get as close as a 56-53 Georgia lead, but UGA scored 5 straight to make it 61-53, eventually ending in a 66-57 championship win. After being forced to play 3 games in 30 hours, this win became the second time Georgia earned an automatic bid in the school's history. The committee weren't too kind to Georgia in the March Madness seeding though, giving the team a 14 seed, where the Bulldogs lost to 3-seed Xavier 73-61. From 4 wins in the conference schedule to 4 wins in the conference tourney, these Bulldogs basically pulled off the impossible this time in March. Starting the college basketball season 1-10 means you will not qualify for March Madness, right? Well, according to the Liberty Flames in the 2012-13 season, that did not apply to them. Now Liberty did somewhat turn their season around when the conference schedule started. The Flames went 6-10 in the Big South, ended with a season record of 11-20. This earned Liberty the 5 seed in the North Division in the Big South, the second worst seed. First round opened up against Coastal Carolina, where Liberty put the belt to the Chanticleers. An easy 78-61 win, setting the Flames for the quarterfinals matchup against North Division 1 seed High Point. This game was looking like an easy upset victory for Liberty as they led High Point 39-22 at halftime, even building their lead to 19 points early in the second half. But High Point didn't just give up and kept chipping away. A Liberty jumper boosted their lead back to 9 with 9:40 left on the clock. Still, the Panthers kept getting closer all the way to a 2-point game, 52-50 with just over 4 minutes on the clock. The Flames countered with 7 unanswered points in the ensuing minute, making it a 9-point lead again with 2:56 on the clock. High Point outscored Liberty 10-2 over the next 2:16. Liberty's lone basket during the stretch was a layup at the 1:51 mark. A High Point layup with 40 ticks left put them within 1. But the Flames defense was able to hold off the Panthers' attack in the final seconds en route to a 61-60 score. Gardner-Webb was the semifinals matchup and where the Flames saw themselves ahead by 8 with 8:12 remaining in the game. Gardner-Webb erased that deficit within 5 minutes. A 3-pointer from Gardner-Webb knotted the game at 62 with 3:21 left on the clock. Liberty made 3 free throws with 14 seconds remaining before Gardner-Webb missed 2 3-point attempts in the final seconds. resulting in a 65-62 semifinal win, giving Liberty a championship game appearance. The 14-20 Flames will meet number 1 North seed Charleston Southern in the tournament final. Liberty took a close 35-34 halftime lead. Liberty and Charleston Southern stayed side by side until the Flames went on a run with about 13 minutes left in the game. The Flames went on a 20-10 run to build a 70-57 lead with just 4:41 remaining. Charleston Southern did make the game a little interesting towards the end, but Liberty held on for the conference title score of 87-76. Liberty not only upset the regular season champions, but they took down the top 3 teams in the Big South to clinch the conference's title. At 15-20, the Flames became just the second 20-loss team to ever reach college basketball's marquee event, and it was the 3rd time in school history the team made it. The 20 losses on their record really hurt the team for March Madness seeding. The Flames drew a 16 seed, but it wasn't one of the safe 16 seeds, meaning they had to play in the first 4 to even make the tourney, which did not happen. Liberty lost to North Carolina A&T 73-72. Liberty had a last-second shot to win the game, but an A&T player got a piece of it. This win for NC actually ended the longest losing streak in NCAA tournament history, fitting it be against one of the worst conference champions ever. Just 2 years later, we find the last team on my list, with that being the 2015-16 Holy Cross Crusaders. These Crusaders take the cake for the worst team in this video during conference play. On December 21st, the team sat at a 5-6 record, then proceeded to go 5-13 in Patriot League play, ending on a 5-game losing streak. Scoring just 64 points per game, this was one of the worst offenses in the nation heading into conference tournament time. But somehow, Holy Cross wasn't the worst team in the conference, so they got the 9 seed. First round game was against Loyola, Maryland, and where Holy Cross didn't get their first lead of the game until the start of the second half, and actually stretched their lead to a 65-57 score with 4 minutes remaining. Loyola kept chipping away down to 118. Holy Cross was up 67-64. Loyola hit a 3 to tie at 67 with 53 seconds left. The Crusaders answered with a tray, and Holy Cross made 2 free throws to seal the victory 72-67. Quarterfinals meant they had to face the regular season champs, 1 seed Bucknell. It was a low-scoring first half, 25-24 in favor of Bucknell. Bucknell got the lead all the way up to a 47-38 game with 8 minutes left. But here's where Holy Cross held Bucknell to just 8 points in the final 8 minutes, leading to a 53-52 Bucknell lead. And where one man gave this Holy Cross team life, Robert Champion, a fitting name, as he forced both overtime periods. Hitting a free throw to tie the game at 53 at the end of regulation, and with the game sitting at 65-62 in favor of Bucknell in the first OT, Champion sank a 3-pointer to tie it at 65, sending the game to the second overtime. Holy Cross got the first bucket of the second overtime to make it 67-65 and led the rest of the way. Bucknell tightened the game after a 3-pointer, but the Crusaders held on, stretching their advantage to 75-69 with 25 seconds left, eventually sealing the game by a score of 77-72. For the first time in the 26-year history of the Patriot League tournament, the number 1 seed did not reach the semifinals. A semifinals matchup versus 4-seed Army had an unexpected ending. Holy Cross blew Army out. Army shot a sad 12 for 53 from the field. I think a high school team could have done better, so this meant 9-seed Holy Cross made it to the championship. They took down the 1 seed earlier, now it was the 2-seed Lehigh they would face in the title. Holy Cross dominated the first half with its defense and went on a 15-2 run to lead 20-6 with 6:09 left in the half. Lehigh trimmed the gap by halftime as the Mountain Hawks got within 25-14 at the break. Fast forward with just under 4 minutes to play, and Holy Cross led Lehigh 55-46, but the Mountain Hawks rolled off 8 straight points to get within 55-54 with 1:21 to go. Malachi Alexander twice hit 2 free throws as the Crusaders went up 59-56 with 26 seconds to go. Lehigh had 4 chances to tie the game on the final possession, except all 4 3-point attempts were off the mark as the Crusaders held on for the Patriot League title. Holy Cross never trailed in this contest, capturing their first title since '07. Sitting at a record of 14-19 like the previous Liberty team, the committee gave this losing record to automatic bid a 16 seed. They also weren't one of the safe 16 seeds, so the first 4 it was for the Crusaders. Facing Southern out of the SWAC, Holy Cross won their game 59-55 to make the real big dance, where they faced Oregon and lost 91-52. Being the worst winner is hard to do in anything, But I think these 4 teams were great examples of that in the world of college basketball. Or maybe it's just a great example that in March, you can throw out the records and statistics because you can't measure each team's hearts in these conference tourneys. I still think they're the worst though.
If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.